this underway. In the bottom right hand side, it's going to be our red Zerg player. It is Dark. Taking on the blue Terran in the top left corner of the map, our world champion of StarCraft 2, it is Clem. These two didn't get to meet during the eSports World Cup. They came out of different portions of the bracket initially and then did not meet in the semis. In fact, when was the last time we had a Clem versus Dark series? Probably more recently than I'm thinking, but can't really recall them playing as of late. Hey, they haven't played in a while, guys. They haven't played since July in the ESL Open Cup Asia Finals. The one where Dark 3-1 Clem. That was when Clem was in Korea practicing ahead of the eSports World Cup. Yeah, that's actually so. Yeah, they haven't played in a couple of weeks, a couple of months. And even then, when they played, I mean, last two times they played, Dark 3-2 Clem, Dark 3-1 Clem. That does come off of a couple of Clem victories before that, but yeah. Like I say, I feel like post eSports World Cup, I'm definitely feeling Clem a little bit more, but recent stats at least point to Dark, give us a little bit of hope for some contest in this series, and hopefully Dark does make it interesting. You know, I guess part of my reason I'm not believing in Dark so much is that I kind of look at Dark's games in this tournament so far, and I'm like, well, honestly, I just don't feel like the way you're playing works against Clem, but maybe he feels that himself, and maybe he'll just play differently as well. Maybe he just didn't feel like he had to play differently before now to kind of get to this point, so all very good things to note. I just see a couple queens coming up. Overlord and our drone coming through as well. Killings is going to go after. Reaper going to take some shots. Just going to chase that out down to the low ground. Just going to land down onto the reactor. A couple of cyclones on the way up. Command center building. And a couple of queens of drones all coming through. The cyclones coming up. Just going to be seeing the command center and SCVs. They need to come around as well. We're going to take a couple of shots. Queen firing up. Pushing that Reaper away, back up the left-hand side, back into the center for a little bit. Two Cyclones lock on, actually going to go for that Overlord. Not going to get it though, as it just gets up to the high ground. So Overlord going to be able to hide away up there. Wing speed coming up, a couple of extractors coming through. Cyclone's just going to go after the Overlord as well. Actually, a lot of kills here. If Dark's Overlords are all out in the open. Obviously, the first one got away, but the second one goes down. This one goes down as well, right? Yep. It's two Overlords dead, and the third one super low HP across the map. These Cyclones putting in some work for Clem early. He's obviously now going to start trading with the Queens, and that's where we're not likely to see as much happen. Two Hellions slip by, though, and there's no Ling speed yet, so these Hellions are likely going to be able to get damage done as Clem. Very simple idea, but very well executed so far. Let's see how many drones he gets here, as he's already worked his way up to 3. A couple of these drones are going to be low. We actually kill a couple of Lings for the moment instead. Now we can get back onto the drone line for the last few shots. I don't know why we're running the Hellions then instead of shooting again. I actually think Dark is fortunate to only lose 3 workers. The 3 workers, 2 Overlords. Can't really complain for Clem early. He lost the 2 Hellions and the Reaper. But the Cyclones are able to pull back home. His Ling speed's about to kick in. And Ravages are morphing, so we're going to see aggression right now. And Clem, do we have a defense ready? Obviously, the Cyclone should help out defensively. Losing those couple of Hellions, though, stops Clem from really being able to see that this is happening or coming. So he doesn't have a full wall off. He does not have a bunker. I mean, giving up the Hellions is basically a you know, kind of a like, hey, you do not know what's happening right now. And so this aggression arises from Dark, and well, Clem is going to have first lock-ons with the Cyclones to get rid of that first morphing Ravager. Obviously, the Lings are waiting for their chance to flood through, picking their moment, or trying to pick their moment carefully. Marines keep on taking some shots. We're going to have Stim already done as well. We get rid of another morphing Ravager. The Roach going down. We're going to pull back now. Of course, we can still pull the SCVs if needed. Another Ravager goes down. Clem is actually not having issues dealing with this at all. The fact that he just has Stim on the Marines makes this so good for him. He starts picking up here a little bit and pulling back towards the mineral line. SCVs are going down. We do have reinforcements showing up. I do think Dark's going to run out of steam here, especially as you lose these Ravagers. You don't have the corrosive files available anymore. And if you're just flooding through with Lings, there's only so much I think a Ling flood on from this can do. He lost a lot of the Marines as Clem, but yeah, Dark's going to get stopped. This Overlord goes down. He's building a few more Roaches, but mostly now focusing on drone production with Clem up in workers. Dark is going to have to play catch-up, and Dark on his way to his lair. Going to be a while until he sees tech in the game as well. Tanks will siege. Again, drones coming up, lair on the way. Evolution chambers coming through as well. Still got the 1-1 combat shield continue to come through. Marines and a siege tank coming up. Missile upgrades coming through on the side of Dark. Lair about to finish building. 9 more drones, 10 more drones in production. There's the Cyclone just stepping up. Fueling's going down. Medivac's going to lift and retreat away. There's a couple Marines, the Cyclone coming through. Link is going to take some shots, getting pushed back around. It's going to be diving forward. Ling Roach Ravager coming through. A couple Lings going down. And you've seen that 1-1 upgrades finishing up from Clem shortly, so he's going to be even more powerful here with an upgrade advantage over his opponent. And this counterattack following from the aggression of his opponent is looking fantastic so far. See tanks getting knocked down by those corrosive bowels. Marines coming back across. See how Roach Ravager continuing over. Marines and Medivacs joining up. Siege tanks trying to evacuate away in the end. Clem, he does actually get a full evacuation off, as Dark just has enough units coming through to push that back. Still feel as though Clem is unreasonable as our few Marines drop down. Overlord is going to be taking some shots. And obviously nice to see Clem splitting this up a little bit attention-wise and moving this around a little bit. Bit of Roach Ravager continues through as well. Just going to be seeing our Hydras and our Hive continuing up. Plus 2 missiles, muscular augments coming through. The Roach going to get there for the SCV. Then we're going to establish a 4th base. One thing he has obviously done with those previous pushes is delay the creep just a little bit in certain areas. Yeah, the creep's a little bit ahead of the bases, but it's not uncontrollably ahead of the bases right now from Dark, so Clem probably looks at this and is pretty happy. Medivac lifts up, drops back down. That's the Roach Ravager just coming back over the other side as well. It's just going to keep that moving over for a little bit. It's going to come for a stim in. Roach Ravager going to get chased away. A couple Ravagers going down. Roach is taking shots. Finally into the left side. Tank's going to have to evacuate there. A little bit of a trailing army, and Dark, with a little bit of a split off, is going to find himself some losses. So unfortunately there, some losses come down. Marine's going to dive up the left-hand side. I mean, that's a lot of bio, but the bio is doing extremely well. It's funny, the tanks are doing terribly, and yet the bio is doing amazingly. The bio is just sweeping through everything. As we do go there for a whole bunch of damage. Ravager trying to come back across. On ourselves, let's continue pushing. A little blinding cloud coming down there as well. We are going to be seeing that bio going to try and come across one more time. Still pushing over. Still trying to get something more done for the moment, as our +2 armor upgrade is going to be finishing in a second. Ghost on the way up. Marine Marauder tank all coming through. We'll continue to fight here. The Roach Hider again turned around again. Clem is just maintaining a pretty solid supply advantage during all of this. The bio continue to kite back as the Roach Hider going to chase. A couple of snipes came through. I mean, Dog is going to overwhelm a little bit here, but I think Clem's reinforcements should have this still more or less just on lockdown, and this should not be too much of an issue. These last few Hydras continue to drop, and yeah, I mean, they stand. Okay, I thought they were going to die. They actually are going to push back a little further, but Clem taking the 5th base and with reinforcements should still be okay here. Absolutely. 20 supply lead. Just don't see Dark. Unless Clem feels as though he has to kind of stop and really slow down, which maybe slowing down a little bit isn't so bad for him, honestly. And Roach Hider is still coming up. +2 carapaces on the way. Army starts to work down to the bottom left-hand corner. Roach Hider coming across. Going to be seeing the Hydra's getting blasted here, as you are going to be seeing a couple siege tanks starting to go down as well. Bio continuing to fight. Hydra's getting dropped. Dark does say G and G, as we do get ourselves a Clem victory in game number 1. So Clem opens the scoring here today. He's not going to kind of crank out those aggressive builds himself. As in the top left-hand side, our red Zerg player. Down a map here, entering site Delta will be Dark. Talon. I think it's on Talon, although his don't you say Talon in game anymore? It did say Talon yesterday, didn't it? I feel like it's a Talon yesterday. Bottom right hand side, our blue Terran player from Team Liquid is Clem. Is there any news on that? Maybe I missed something. Not really anything official anywhere. No official announcement that Dark has moved teams or anything like that. Alright, CC. Here from Clem. Going into the racks and the gas. Nothing too crazy to start us off with. Get set up and settled down. We have our racks and SCVs coming through for a couple moments. Getting that on the go. Bringing that in right here. Hatchery coming up. Gas in the pool coming up. Spawning pool coming in. Yeah, it's going to just take a couple moments to really get underway. Nothing going to be super serious for the first little while. Do you guys really think if Dark built Balins in that last game, it would have gone any better for him? Genuine question. I think if Dark builds Balins in that last game, he dies even faster, because you can't possibly have a good enough amount of Banelings while maintaining a scary amount of Roach Hydra. So I think if you try and make Banelings after being kind of set up on Roach Ravager Hydra, you kind of just die even harder, because the Banelings won't be in high enough numbers to connect, and then the Roach Ravager Hydra won't be in high enough numbers to kind of stand their ground and try and at least make something of the fights. That's why you don't really see people attacking into Banes off of the Roach Hydra setup, until after the lurkers come through, right? Once lurkers come online, you start seeing the Ling Bane a bit more, and you kind of do make it more like Ling Bane lurker later game with Ravager support, but mid game you can't just switch into Banelings like that. You just don't have the way. You just can't really make it happen. Obviously, you can play Ling Bane into the mid game, but the setup for Ling Bane into the mid game is so different as well. And sometimes you play like Roach Ravager kind of Bane as well. Like you can make Banelings early, but I don't think you can make Roach Ravager Hydra Bane. I think that's the issue. I think because he went into the Hydras, he was pretty much already going to be committed to that and trying to get to lurkers instead of playing a more aggressive mid game comp, which probably makes sense because he wasn't really in a position after the opening to play a more aggressive mid game comp successfully. But I think I kind of like the idea that Dark had. Just Clem absolutely had the numbers to make it fight either way. Anyways, see what happens as I Reaper and a couple of Hellions coming through and a couple of Queens sitting out the front, obviously going between bases, figuring out where they want to be. Clem this game going to go into Liberator. Not going to mess around with any Hellion run-bys yet. I'm definitely not going to mess around with any Cyclones yet, so we are going to see more Hellions, less Cyclones. Liberator on the way up as well will be a way for him to continue harassing one of the Clem classic builds. The 8 Hellion and Liberator play. He's actually going to dive up here a little bit, and Dark is going to be caught being greedy, and that's drones going down. 4 drones already dead. Yep. I mean, this is just pure greed out of Dark. No Lings ready to go. Only a couple of Lings ready to go. If you're only going to make a couple of Lings, you cannot let these Hellions get the jump past your Queens and into the natural. Clem finds himself 8 workers, a few Lings to go along with it. I mean, it did cost him 4 Hellions, so it wasn't for free. But obviously 8 drones is a big hindrance to your economy and your build-up here. Yes, Clem may not have the scouting information or the, the ability to deny the creep on the map as much now. But I think hindering that Zerg economy is a big deal. Siege tank coming up, stim pack about halfway done. Extra racks finishing in, the engineering bay coming online. Couple of evos and those drones coming up as well. As we do have ourselves 11 creep teamers now building from Dark. A couple of extractors coming in. Yeah, starting to push that creep on the map. There's a lot of the Hellions dead. There's going to be way less kind of denial of that, so that's one of the advantages you should be able to take from here. And chases that SCV for a couple of moments as well, and a couple of Hellions move back out onto the map a little bit. Just got ourselves one SCV. But these Lings going to take tank damage, splashing on the SCVs. Do we get any? Yeah, some SCVs finally die after the final bit of tank splash. Did a pretty good job of the Ling not actually being able to kill any SCVs up until then. But yeah, the final tank splash is going to be the doom and gloom for some of those workers. That's why you wear hard hats in the workplace, man. Random siege tanks, shell shots might be coming through. Those SCVs are just not living up to the health and safety standards of this day and age. Clem is on a push, and you can already see the supplies kind of telling you how this game has gone. This is a push that just kills Dark. Banelings are not out. He does not have anywhere near Baneling speed. It's a 9 Bane start, but yeah, Bane speed is not. We're not even on the lair yet, so we can't even think about starting Bane speed. Upgrades are going to finish sooner for Clem than they will for Dark as well. This is the kind of push that has potential to end the game. So let's see what Dark can do about it. He's going to come in from the bottom side. Tank's actually going to get caught there. Will the tanks target fire the Banelings? Well, the Banelings run towards the siege tanks, and the Queens actually do zone out the medevacs. One medevac going down. Second medevac just about living. Well, great defense from Dark. I think Clem's mistake was to not get back to his tanks with the Marines. If he sees that attack's coming in, you pull back to the tanks with the Marines, then the Marines can kill Lings that try and surround the tanks. Tanks target fire the Banes. And the Marines don't have to, like, the Marines don't have to stand in front of the tanks. They can stand behind them, but at least then they are hitting some of the Lings that are moving through. Instead, the Marines end up towards the Queens, unable to really get kills there because they're not able to fully focus Queens down in that situation. And then the tanks are on their own, fighting their own battle. Dark did a great job of separating the two different portions of Clem's army and making him make the mistake of how to fight that. So, a fight won here by Dark from a dangerous position, and he's going to keep himself alive in this game. And that's very well played because, like I say, it was a very bad position for Dark. He was behind and he was in trouble. And like I said, I think against a lot of Zergs, Clem would have found fights to just end the game there. Dark is able to force it into something that now goes on and he still is alive in. So credit to him, like I say, great play from him. Seeing the Marines loading back into the Medivacs. Couple Lings still wandering around, heading over that right-hand side. Marines continue to fight. Bane's actually going to come crashing through as well a little bit. Turn around, get a few more Bane lanes. Good target fire, letting the Widow Mines get the Lings as well. Nicely done. I'm just going to run through. I mean, once again, every time you see a run by here, I feel like it's so minimal. Dark never has like 30 Lings running in, which maybe could have been good here. He's got like 6 Lings, which are... I don't even know what we're running 6 Lings by for. It's more of a scout than a run by. Marines actually going to stand and fight. Bentley actually comes through out of nowhere and connects to help clean up. Couple more Widow Mines firing. Marines still stepping forward. We are going to be seeing the Hydras continue to be chased backward for the moment. The Lings are going to come through again. And a couple of shots locked onto here. The Marines continue to go big on those Lings. Hydra's getting jumped on. And in the end, it looks as though Clem is still going to take that early game advantage through to victory. As Dark is just not able to hold on to anything right now. We're just going to have ourselves the drones coming up the top. Extractor coming through. Rest of these Marines in the Medivacs pulling back as well. The Overlord's just going to sit in this 12 o'clock position just off to the side of the main base. And more Marines stepping forward. Widow Mines burrowing. Continue to press our way into a creep spread here over on this side of the map, so we continue to push on forward for the moment. A bit more stimming being done. We're going to step back a little bit further again. Some Banelings come crashing through though. A little bit more damage being dealt. Ling's actually going to come chasing down the Marine and Marauder now, the Overseer overhead. Medivacs pulling all the way back. Gonna stay out of trouble. Again, a couple of Vipers coming about. The +1 missile upgrade is coming through as well. Back's loading, just gonna hide over the corner. Fire moving across. They're going to get in there and just pick off those Medivacs. So they get killed off in the corner there. As you just see, Bio still pushing up. A couple creep tumors are still going down. Pressure onwards continues. It's blasting as the Ling Hydra takes a fair bit of damage. Widow Mine shot, another few Lings going down. Banes are still rolling up as well. Bio just taking a turn back into the front. 3-3 upgrades, concussive shells and ghosts. All of that still being brought into play currently. Widow Mine shot, a few Lings going down. Hydra's coming forward. Marines taking hits also. Gonna be having ourselves a +2 vehicle plane coming about. Widow Mine's burrowing again. Lings gonna get posted for the moment. Widow Mine's burrowing up one more time. Oh, all those Banes continue to get cleaned out as we are going to be on the left-hand side. Picking off the hatchery. So hatchery on the left goes down. Bio continues to fight. The Lane Hydra continues over. The Overseer is running forward as well. Dark is actually going to push Clem into a couple of tricky corners over here. Clem just letting the planetary fortress get involved in the defense. Couple of ghosts still firing up. Bio units coming through in general. Those couple of Banes getting knocked down. Still Bio on the left-hand side going to lift back up from into those medevacs. Simple Zergling going to go and pick off the reactor, so that will go down as well as the Ghost Bio continues across. Just going to see those Lings still wrapping around the Bio units as well. Back at the right-hand side, Clem is going to be on the move. Pushing up toward the top. Again, our +2 missile upgrade is coming in. The +3 carapace is coming up right now as well. Water mines are going to get burrowed as the army continues to push upwards. A few more shots coming about. Fire stepping in. Just going to be seeing a couple of Lings going down as well. Now another water mine going to go off, picking away at some of the Lings there as well. These Lings are just going to drive straight into this mineral line. So again, just going to go into mineral line for the moment. But Ling Bane continue to chase across. Bio continue to run. Water mine setting up. Clem still has the supply lead here, but Dark is starting to do much better on his run-bys and counterattacks. Definitely, definitely getting into a much better kind of rhythm, Dark, but still not enough to really knock Clem off of the leading position that he holds. All Parasite Bomb and Medivacs in the corner. We do have Cloaking coming up, the Ghosts and Liberators coming out too. You know that those are going to be important as the Vipers will just abduct in to get the kills. We forgot about that one, but one more abduct should get it done. Or Parasite Bomb. Take your pick. Okay, Queens come across, they will get it done. I'm setting up there, but obviously has to be super careful. As you can see, units coming in from the other side. There's a lot of ghosts as well. You don't want to be losing ghosts, right? So got to make sure there's medevac space for those. As you play the lift-up game of reinforced units from Clem, going to get caught as well, and that's a couple of ghosts going down on those reinforcements. Clem, a little messy and a little sloppy, just not necessary to really be shown up with units in that moment. So Clem ends up taking a few more shots. Still seeing a Hydra Bane coming about here. Is going to be seeing our extra Liberators all coming up. Ghost Marine Marauder coming in as well. Cancel up that CC. Bio coming back over. Widow Mines as well. Adrenal Glands also on the way up here. Let's just see the Bio continue to come across. The mines are going to get burrowed. Zergling's going to get blown up by a few of those mines. But another Ghost going down. Like I say, Clem is definitely not being protecting his units as well as you would expect Clem to. Just because you expect Clem to do a great job of protecting his units and kind of keeping things safe and everything. Coming over. The Lings get changed away. It's going to be seeing those Liberators still gathering up. The Overseer flying about as well. Ling, Bane, Hydra coming back over to the bottom right-hand side, pushing straight through. Liberators are going to start sieging. Ghost obviously might be able to get some preemptive snipes on those lurkers as well. We get a couple. Liberators can deal with taking just another step forward on top of those lurkers, as now we are going to see this base on the right-hand side busted down. Dark will get this. 29 SUVs going down as he's going to run into the natural as well. Clem on the other side of the map has killed a hatchery himself. He's killing all of the reinforcing Zerglings that are popping out. We're going to need some more serious reinforcements back at home to deal with this, as that's another base of Dark going down. Obviously, as Dark loses hatcheries, that's also production that he's going to lose out on, as Clem is probably going to lose this base as well. So another base going down from Clem as the SCVs will bust through the planetary fortress. We will have enough damage output to get the planetary at the end of this. Clem pushing down this ramp. Dark losing a lot of supply. In fact, that was Dark's lurkers mostly going down there, so he missed the fight, but Clem breaks out with the lurkers getting shot away at. And Dark, 158, Clem 162 supplies. Dark has double the work count, which means that Clem has a monstrously sized army right now. An orbital command in the top right is going to try and come back into play. A couple of overseers go down. Clem's actually going to get that base top right. I mean, he already has the upper top right. He's taking a base now that typically should be Dark's in the game. It's very rare you see side delta split left versus right instead of top versus bottom. So, yeah, I mean, obviously, I don't know if this map is necessarily going to end up split, because let's face it, I don't think we're necessarily going to see the game go long enough for it to be mined out or split up too heavily. I think Clem has got a big push right now that is looking extremely good for him here in this game too. Like I say, it's not just the fact he's up a bit of supply, it's the fact he's up 50 army supply almost, because so much of Dark's advantages in the workers. Now Dark is building some infestors and the sort of thing that might just keep you alive a little bit longer here as well. Now the Wooden Mine burrows up, Bio moving about. Wooden Mine shot is good for a little bit of Ling Bane. Goes sniping. Army stepping forward. Rare Sieges on the left-hand side. Dog not really in a position to start losing drones. His economy is one of the better things that he has, so losing some of that advantage is obviously not great, as we had already just a infested again taken down. Now Viper gets sniped. Taking into Dark just disappearing. There's a few Banes here, and Clem a little slow to start pulling back. The flanking infester coming through, but we'll never see anything from it as Dark starts getting mass sniped, and Clem is going to take game number 2 on Site Delta. And we get Clem off to a 2-0 lead in this series in the upper bracket final, right? But no, now it's the other way around. Yes, of course, Clem and Max Pax are 2 of our very best Europeans. But still impressive. Not there yet, though. In the top right, our Red Zerg player looking to stop this. It is going to be our Red Zerg Dark. Bottom left, our blue Terran player is going to be Clem. Game 3 of this best of 5. We look to see if Dark will make it to the scoreboard or not. Hatchery first, and he takes that hatchery first on the outside of the gold base, so that's where we've been seeing a lot of players take. Now, you take on the inside is just too harassable. Take on the outside has been kind of the go-to. This obviously does give you some aggressive options because you're still going to have that gold-based economy available to you here, so definitely expecting that to be a bit of a factor, I'd imagine. Yeah, Papo coming online. Bringing that into play. Going to do hatch pool and then the gas, so just going to go about this in that direction as we just have ourselves the Reaper coming up as well, so we bring that through. Get that started off. We'll be popping out in just a few. Just going to be seeing it obviously coming across this map. Going to start harassing the goal. We actually have a second Reaper on the way from Clem, so going to play the double Reaper opening here. The Reaper already starting to ping away at this Mineral Alliance. So some drones taking some shots, some damage being done. Just some nice standard bits and pieces early on in this. And the Reaper's coming back around over on this side. So, just going to keep on moving through for a little bit. Just going to have ourselves the Reapers hopping down to low ground again. Trying to figure out where they may go. Those drones absolutely taking a bit of a beating though, and I see pretty decent damage across the board there as these Reapers get to work. The Reapers continue to fight, a few more drones going down, a little bit more damage being dealt. I mean, 7 workers killed. Feel as though that's not exactly meant to happen. That feels like way more damage than we should ever be seeing. Ay, 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 ay. What is going on? Not a pretty situation at all. As Dark comes across the map with these roaches, but I mean, starts the gas. Full grenade buys you a few more seconds. Clem is about to finish up the bunker. Gonna kill the first roach as well. I mean, come on. I mean, just go. I mean, what else are you meant to say? Tell me, please. Tell me what we're meant to say as our units continue to push through, continue to push back. I think very difficult to really say anything here other than that this one is looking like it's going to be wrapped up very quickly. As Clem is going to hold this off. I mean, Dog is building a ton more roaches, so we're not out of the woods yet from Clem, but I mean, he's got the starport finishing. I guess let's see what he builds off the starport. He is getting a cyclone right now. Cyclone's locking, pushing that roach away. He's now a few other units he's gathering up as well. Shots coming through. SCV's on the full surround. Can keep the cyclone up. Clem trying to move his third CC into position already. Dark is now starting to drone, and I think it's fair to say that this has not really worked out for Dark, in which case we should probably be a little bit concerned for him, because this now probably does not end up in too pretty of a situation following that. A lot more Ravager play coming through. The Cyclone, did that just die? It did, didn't it? Wow, Cyclone actually gets caught in the corrosive piles. That's a mistake from Clem as he tries to chase down that ram. Taking a couple of SCV losses over here, so some damage will be taken. A few shots continuing to come through. Ravager still settling for a few more moments then. Just going to sit behind that mineral line, and again, if you can just sit behind that mineral line and camp that out, you're going to be a pretty happy Zerg player, because you're going to be delaying that Terran economy that little bit, so working on that, working with that idea at the moment. Drones continue to transfer over, Spore Crawler coming down, the hatchery on the way up, 8 additional drones in production as well, as the Ravager's going to come through, hit the SCVs a little bit. Banshee going to come over. I'm just going to finish off this Ravager that's been annoying. So, again, Banshee, a great and consistent way to get rid of this. Was kind of expecting Clem throughout this to kind of just not, well, just honestly build Banshees and just to play kind of safely in general. Honestly, somewhat surprised that it took so long. So, again, on track as you see a few Marines gathering up. Siege tank moving forward as well. For a few moments. As we settle it down, Banshee going to fire, Ravager taking some shots, a couple of drones going to be going down also, so a few hits coming through there. A couple more corrosive files, Banshee going to stay dodged away, a few more drones going down on top of everything else. Damage being done across the board. Another Banshee firing again, a few more drones continue to get dropped in. We've seen this Banshee retreating away. Flag coming up, drones, roach, Ravage coming through, +1/+1 missiles and carapace in production, corrosive bile dodged. Man, just have another Ravager here, consistently being annoying, that's for sure. As the Queens and the Ravages join on together. Single roach, gonna keep on hitting that CC for a few moments. I was just escaping out of there again, still seeing our +1 missiles and carapace upgrades on the way through to bring those upgrades out. We have got the road, the link speed starting as well. So as lag comes online, this is going to be a game where you see they're going to be roaching the link bane. We still got this a bit after game 1, right? This time we shouldn't see a Hydra tank. There should just be Ling Bane Ravager from here on out. And that's going to be the difference compared to when people in the first game are saying he should have made Banes. Well, yeah, this time he'll make Banes, but he won't go into the Hydras. It's a different way of, it's a different composition. It's a different way of trying to make it work. Marines fighting about. It's going to be seeing the refinery coming through. Marines coming over. Command's going to again drop into the front. It's going to be the 4th base from Clem taking position, and obviously this game progresses towards a maxed out state. I don't think anyone's going to get involved in fights before then, because I don't see Clem in a rush to get across the map, and of course Dark at the very least is going to wait for his speed upgrades, Bane and Roach speed, both on the way. Infestation Pit immediately probably just rushes into Hive as well, alongside any sort of Ling Bane based composition. Adrenal Glands becomes extremely important and valued. The potential to build Ultras will be there too. Marines pulling back over, just going to continue to come over for the moment. Command Center settles down. That Roach speed about to finish. Bane speed coming up. +1, +2 coming through. The Overlord speed in the way. And Burrow is about halfway done currently. And the Army of Dark going to get back to the top side of the map here. We're seeing those Marines stepping forwards onto the creep. A few creep teamers going down. The Lings, Banes, and Ravagers going to move forward as well. Here's the Marines going to have to lift back up into the medevacs. Army of Dark continue to move around. Ultra Kevin continue to come up. He's loading up into the medevacs, pulling back. Roach Bane continue to move around. Gonna see a couple more battles here and there. So look, Ultra Cavern coming up, a couple of Vipers on the way through from Dark. +2 melee, Adrenal Glands, Kindness Plane, and +3 Carapace all continue to come by right now. So a lot of that continues up as the CCs of Clem come in. Orbital Command halfway done, a couple of tanks on the way. Ghosts finishing as well, as that Bio will step forwards and pick away at some more of these creep teamers. Still got that Banshee, by the way, just chilling in the game. Hanging around for Elias, same old Banshee. Just looking to chase units back and just kind of punish the lack of anti-air in that majority of the army. It's everything I said from the Hive, with the Adrenal Glands and the Kindness Plane for Ultras on the way through, and we're seeing if that is going to be an army composition for Dark where you can really kind of move forwards and challenge against this army of Clem. It's continuing to stack up numbers-wise over the next little bit. Medevac lifts up, just going to be pulling away there. Backing it up for the moment. Ravager Bane continuing to come around once again here. Just going to see a couple of those Banelings getting knocked down. Bane's going to crash through on this side. It's kind of funny because that's a wall-off made to kind of deal with the fact that you've obviously been mining out those minerals. Command Center trying to push to the top left. But yeah, I like it from Dark, getting aggressive around that bottom side of the map as well. Pushing into some good positions here. And, you know, kind of finding some exposure onto that gold is a big plus. Again, additional Ultras coming through. But you're going to have the Ultra speed upgrade creep coming in as well. It's the part of the game where Clem has to kind of keep a group of units at home at all times because he has to be super careful of Niduses. Has to make sure that they don't become a factor. To make sure you can constantly deal with those kind of threats. Ravages will poke at the front. Orbital commands taking some damage as the orbitals take hits. Letting Ultra continue to come through as well. Here is just see ourselves with 3-3 upgrades coming through on the side of Clem. Concussive shells, ghost, orbitals continue to come through the army now. Dark pressing at the front, and we will see the orbitals taking a little bit more damage as well. Viking going to pull over, Viper getting pushed back. Bane just continues to threaten its way forward at the moment as Ravages come through for another command center. It's going to be able to grab that as well. Just getting some grabs. Snipes coming through onto those ultras now as well. I'm seeing a couple of ghosts coming about. Missile turret, refineries, planetary fortress, all continuing in. And even more snipes coming in from the bottom side here. Clem continue to press upward, chasing that Roach Ravager force away. Again, Bane Ravager coming through. Overseers and the Vipers gathering up as well. Drop the orbital into the top left. Dark has a lot of the map, a lot of creep. Not sure how afraid that makes Clem. I think Clem is kind of happy to sit back, play defensive and play slow. We've seen Clem be very successful in games like this, where he has to slow down, where he has to play it split map and just slowly poke through that, Zerg economy. Obviously, he doesn't want to let the Zerg mine this base in the top left, because that should be his if the Zerg is mining the similar base in the bottom right. So that's just one thing that Clem has to be careful of, and we'll probably contest for that base at the same time. This is the challenge, figuring out how you defend that and stop that while also dealing with your defense on this base down here. That's why Terrans oftentimes move so slowly, because they're usually kind of going for this base initially, and then after they defend this side of the map, they'll then start to mine out the other side of the map. Now, this portion of the map is obviously fairly well mined out. There's not a lot of resources left on it, but it's still somewhere that has a lot of infrastructure for Clem, and if he loses kind of too much here on the front lines, the next step of defense is going to be on his natural, then the main base, and then you just start losing production, and that's something you can't really allow to happen. So it's actually going to make this a challenge the deeper that the game goes. But obviously the economy and the bases that he wants are up in the main, up in the top left-hand side, so that really is just away from his main. It's going to really draw Clem out. Unless Clem can focus attacks in the bottom right and just take the game away from the top left in general. To be fair, Dark's not playing a camped-out kind of turtley army himself just yet, where they might kind of come off, come to a bit of a standoff or something. Instead, Dark is still playing Ling Bane Ultra. That's a much more active army, and one that Clem might be able to just force into certain positions, as Dark is already counter-attacking those. Clem hits the bottom right. Dark is coming through the center of the map towards the far left-hand side. Ling's going to come running forwards here. Marauder's going to get chased away. The Ghost's going to get burrowed up again, cloaked up again as we try and deal with these ultras. Parasitic bombs are doing masses of damage as Clem stays clumped up, not really handling these attacks all over the map very well at all, as Dark is just swiping his way through Ghosts, SCVs, tanks, you name it, he's killing it. Dark is going to get so much done, and I don't think Clem recovers from this, actually. I don't think his income is going to cover those losses. There's a few more Ghost Snipes might be good. I mean, attacking into the main is going to be extremely difficult for Dark. That's where Clem is likely going to find the most efficiency, but yeah, losing Ghosts to those few Banelings are going to drop a Nidus during all of this as well. If Clem can find the time to get rid of that, that's great, but his supply is obviously plummeting. As Dark lose another Ultra. He's just rebuilding instantly. The only thing that Dark struggles with, he just doesn't have that much gas. He's very Ling mineral heavy, which means he can continue to spam out those Lings, but that's probably about it. As Ghosts come down this low ground, it's going to be another Ultra getting sniped down. The few Lings still dropping as well. And Dark is looking as though he really may just get this done in the longer macro game. Of all the games that we see today, that's maybe not the one I actually expected him to succeed in, but he's played this one very well. I think especially he's been so good at attacking just when Clem is trying to focus on other things, and just forcing Clem to kind of just make mistakes because Clem's trying to be too busy on the map and wanting to achieve things elsewhere, and Dark just says, no, if you want to go over there, I'm going to make sure you have to look back at home, or If you're going to be looking back at home, I'm going to start thinking about taking a base over here. Very good just multitasking from Dark, as we are going to see Clem is attacking the top side of the map. We'll check in on that in a second once this gets cleaned up, which it should. And we're a little bit worried that Dark is losing too much over here, in fact. And over on this side of the map, he's going to be taking losses as well. We just need to get rid of this Ultralisk. I tell you what I'm scared about right now for Dark is his complete lack of splash damage, right? I mean, for Dark, this is just Ultras. Obviously, Ultras do splash, but they can get sniped. I'm worried about the lack of Banes. There's 10 Banes in the map. And Dark has given away a lot of units. His bank has plummeted recently from 6,000 minerals to 2,000 remaining. Still doesn't have a lot of gas. Bling Ultra on its own may not be efficient enough to find you what you need in this game, as these Ghosts will have to lift off that Overseer. Sorry, that Ultralisk will force that back up. Do we have some snipes for that Ultra? Not just yet, as the Ghosts can have to lift off once again. The Queen's arriving now. They actually transfuse the Ultra back up to health as well, as the tank's trying to take position. Now the Ultra going to come through. A couple snipes, but the transfusions are good. Queen's transfusion from the high ground as Dark tries to bust into this planetary fortress. I do not think we have... I was going to say, I don't think we have the damage output to get rid of the planetary, but we will do. There was only a few Banes, but the Lings and Ultras able to do enough because there's no SCVs left to repair. Clem will deny the base bottom right-hand side instead. So he'll get rid of this one, but I'm worried that Clem does not really have a proper mining base now. Dark is going to be mining so much more. Resources lost is dead even, so Dark has not been trading as efficiently as... Clem has not been trading as efficiently as you would have typically liked. Typically a Terran trades more efficiently, and then the Zerg is, then they can get away with the Zerg mining more of the map. It's obviously not happening as Bio Ghost steps in over on that right-hand side. Again, extra Marines coming up, Link Bane Ultra coming through, the Bio on the top side going to go after the hatchery as well. Ling's just sweeping into the main. This is such a problem. Ling's against these siege tanks that are just left behind defensively, and you've got to defend your main base. You can't just let your main base die, right? So Clem pretty much has to pull over here to deal with this, and obviously or leave siege tanks behind to defend it, but then they're weak to the Lings, and again, that's just Dark picking the correct units to attack the correct places to make this as good of a scenario as possible for him. As I think it's fair to say this one is pretty much tilting more into favor of Dark again. Now, it's kind of obviously it was always kind of Dark's game, but it was kind of interesting because Clem had kind of even army supply for a while. I think it was important that Dark kind of got back around the map and in a couple different directions. Fire's going to fight there. Just going to be seeing a few of those Banes going down. Fire's still trying to split about. Ultras continue to dive into this main base deeper and deeper. I mean, there's just no answer to this from Clem. He doesn't have enough snipes available, so he's been struggling to get rid of these Ultralisks. GG. Dark takes a map, and he's going to keep this series alive. Yeah, MaxRex definitely looking back on track compared to the games we saw the other day. Someone mentioned he was sick the other day, maybe, so perhaps that was it. That would honestly be a pretty good explanation. So we have got in the bottom left-hand corner of the map our red Zerg player. This is Dark. Taking on in the top right-hand side the blue Terran player representing Team Liquid. We have Clem. Game 4 of this best of 5. And away we go. Hatchery onto the natural. Get that set up. I'm going to open with the multi-racks on the low ground here. Well, hey, Alcyone, what a map we have for Game 4. Yes, Dynasty does lend itself to longer games, but obviously Alcyone does too, so definitely expect something to come around on this one. Well, 2 Reapers will be on the way up here. We get into action. We have a couple of racks coming by, getting settled down. Command center will start. Get this underway. So, kicking off into game number 4. Obviously, we'll be again following the Reapers over the next little bit. As the Reaper does start a fight, and a couple lings will start to go down. Some damage being done here. Let's just have our Reaper continuing through. Queen is going to pop out actually. I'm going to hit that Reaper as well. It's just going to shove that away a little bit. And the Reapers end up hopping into the main base. So Reaper's on a move around. Looking to see what's up. There's a couple of those lings are still going down. Another little grenade going in. Queen taking some damage. The Queen's taking some damage. And those Reapers going to join back up. Out on the map. Move forward again. All those lings still taking shots. Queens going about 2 as we go back and forth here for a little bit. Another grenade goes down. Just going to be having the Queens taking some damage as well. It's just finding some extra shots right now. Decent damage being done. As that factory will finish in a moment. Now these Reapers continue back down to the bottom side. Up into the main base. Start to go after some of those workers. Lings taking shots again. The Queen's continuing across. Chasing in here a little bit for the moment as we just have our Reapers actually going to get completely stuck. Not great from Clem, losing those Reapers early. Getting himself too committed to that base, getting stuck behind the Queens, and not a pretty opener in this game 4. Clem's had a lot of pretty openers in this series. By 6-7 minutes, we're usually feeling pretty good about Clem, but yeah, this is going to be tough for him to really find much of anything going on. He's getting some Hellions out, so you'll have control of the map with those at least. As Dark gets the Roach Roaring online. It's halfway done currently. Extra gases are finishing. We will have full Roach production in a moment if we want it. Will Dark send this on a big bunch of Roaches across the map? I think so. He's already going to have gas for 7, 8 Roaches. I think 8 Roaches by the time this Roach Roaring is done. Maybe even 9. I mean, gas income's just increased, of course, with those extra extractors coming up. So yeah, he can build a ton of Roaches all at once. Clem dives in with the Hellions. It's really important here that he figures out what is up, because if he doesn't realize that this is Roaches, he could be in some trouble. But he saw the Roach Roaring. He sees the gases. He sees no lair. Clem should have the pieces of the puzzle he needs to really figure this out. Even more so in a moment when he actually sees some Roaches spawning out of this hatchery. I think he should for sure know what's up. I mean, he's already built one Banshee. Second Banshee is on the way. The Lings start up now as well. The Hellions will want to try and save themselves. Even a bit of splash against those Lings could go a long way and definitely be a factor. So expect those to come into play as well. Having the Banshee already firing. The Roach is taking some shots. And a couple more hits coming through just for the moment, so getting some damage dealt. Well, Queen's going to fight back. Hellion's still taking some hits. Again, the Roaches continue to move around as well as the Banshee fires up. The Roaches take some damage. Link speed, extra drones on the way in. The Banshees will get busy once more. Gonna see that Roach getting taken out. The Hellions continue back across the other direction now. As we continue to play cleanup. So that Roach will also just drop down dead. Again, a couple of medevacs coming online. The engineering bays are producing. Siege tank and stim. Build for them also. Banshee's continuing about on the move. Just going to be having ourselves the 1-1 upgrades. Link speed, Evo chambers, drones, a bit of everything continue to be brought into play at the moment here. Do have our Banshee's going to go after some of these drones. 3 workers going down, make it 4. Queens firing back, and now the Queen's actually going to take some damage from the Banshees also. Double evolution chamber on the way in. 8 drones, Link speed. Back again across that direction. Now that is going to mean that this Roach Ravager, or Link Ravager over here, is going to be kind of on its own, and the Banshee's not really doing much to help out. Obviously, if the Banshees were here, they could get rid of so many of these Ravagers, but now they're not in position. Now the Lings go down, it's just Ravagers left. As Hank pops out, obviously wants to keep that alive. These Ravagers are so flimsy on their own accord, and the fact we've killed some drones helps Clem, because it does mean he can afford to lose a few of the SCVs that he pulled in to defend. think we're going to be okay here, but yeah, that got a little scary. Like I said, the Banshees probably could have been better at home. At the same time, the Banshees are still alive. They did do good damage. Just a shame because obviously he got so caught up defending back at home he wasn't able to make the most of the Banshees. There's definitely positions there where the Banshees could have been so much better still. But now these Banshees latch themselves onto this hatchery, so Hatch going to end up taking quite a bit of damage. That's going to be taking some shots. As the Queens and the Ravager move through and open up that set of rocks, opening up that area as well. Banshees back around to the bottom. And Banshees continue to move through. Coming around right there, just going to be seeing that Marines is going to go for a little bit of a grab. And Roach is just continuing through for the moment, so seeing what we can do right here, seeing what else is going down. Seeing the Banshees continue to go to work, so a bit more damage being done for the moment. Just got those Banshees coming by, the drones continue to drop, 4 or 5 workers going down. Changeling's getting picked off as well. And one Banshee just going to get picked off, the other Banshee getting chased away. Back over the other side. Again, Marines and Medevacs going to come back through. Get settled in here for the moment. You see now Roach Ravager joining up. You can see this Overseer moving through. Tank's going to siege. The Marines have to pull back a little bit. Corrosive File's going to smash all over those siege tanks as Clem is going to be able to continue fighting though. A couple tanks remaining, another big stim available. And you guys know, right, as soon as those Ravagers are on their own without Roaches in front, they're going to melt to Marines. Now, there's a few more Roaches coming in now. It's a Spore Nautilus spine in that mineral line as well as 8 drones have already fallen and Clem continue to push across the map. A couple of Roaches getting absolutely blasted. The Ravagers coming through and Marines are going to step forward once again. Still got that Roach Ravager trying to come back over on this other direction as a couple of Corrosive Files still dropping in. The Medevac's taking some big hits. Roach Ravager continuing to come across here. The Queen's coming over as well. Siege Tank's putting the work in on those Roaches. That Ravager also getting picked off. Going to take another step forward. Queen's getting grabbed. Another tank sieging. And I think we've got ourselves the damage done necessary here from Clem. I mean, he's maybe not going to win on this push or anything. A couple of tanks though. No biles left. And look how good it is when there's no biles. Those tanks just can't be touched still. It takes so much investment to run deeper into those tanks and it just doesn't really happen. Now Clem's about to have 2-2 upgrades. Yeah, important morph of Ravagers here actually from Dark. Absolutely necessary. You move the Spore Crawler forward too to zone the Medevacs a little bit. Stop them from just hanging out overhead during these moments. As that Roach Ravager continues to gather back up together then. We're going to get ready to go. Just going to be seeing that Roach Ravager pushing straight through. Corrosive Files landing. Siege Tank's taking damage. Dark just says, GG's. And Clem is going to take this one down 3-1 in the end. It was kind of a series mostly about Clem. Dark had some moments. He definitely stood up at a couple of points in this game and made something of it.